This is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast, hosted by Roman Prokopchuk, bringing you all things digital marketing, tech, business, and motivation. What's stopping you from becoming relentless in all aspects of life? Are you ready to become a digital savage? Let's get into today's episode.
Hey everyone, this is Roman Prokopchuk from Roman Prokopchuk's Digital Savage Experience Podcast. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free, so that's always good. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey everyone, this is Roman Prokopchuk, and this is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast. Today I have with me Rob Gallo. Rob is widely recognized as an industry expert in customer loyalty. A pioneer in the gaming industry, Rob founded one of the first online casinos in 1997, which he successfully ran before selling and retiring in 2010. Today, Rob is founder and CEO of CompLinks, a white label consumer engagement platform helping companies generate revenue from their customers even while they're outside the particular business property. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Roman. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So tell me a little bit about your journey. Where did you get started and how did you get to the 2019 you?
Great question. So as you mentioned, I started in the online casino business back in 1997. I sort of saw the writing on the wall. It was an interesting story how I got started. A buddy of mine and I were on vacation, and he was overlooking a prospectus from a group in Toronto that came down to him and wanted to get licensed for an online casino. And I said, that's a great idea. You should open your own. He says, okay, and you could run it. I'm like, all right, whatever. I didn't know the difference between the whole percentage of blackjack, video poker. I said, I'll figure it out. How hard could it be? So we launched in November of 97, and it was wildly successful. Moved my entire family down to Antigua, where we were licensed. Anyway, fast forward, the company that we licensed the technology from didn't have a loyalty platform. And as anyone knows, whoever's been in a casino, when you go into a casino, you get a rewards card. And as you play, you accumulate rewards that you can use for food and beverage credits, show tickets, and all that stuff. Those are called comps, complimentaries. So since we didn't have one, we built our own and ran it for all. We ended up with 5 casino properties, and we intermingled them so you could earn from one and burn it at another. And that was the start of our foundation in the loyalty space. As you mentioned, I sold the business in 2010, quasi-retired. That didn't really take all that well. I was just too anxious to do something else. So I began consulting. Anyway, long story short is my daughter graduated from business school in 2015, and we looked to make an acquisition of a company in New York called Long Island Loyalty, but we just couldn't come to terms with the owner. They had a pretty neat platform where you could buy something from one place and burn off at another, but we wanted to take it digital. So we ended up building our own platform called CompLinks, and that's where we're at today.
And what kind of companies or businesses do you work with? Are there specific industries, or it kind of runs a gambit?
We started in the casino space because we do have good relationships with many casino operators. But the sales cycle is ridiculously slow, and many of them aren't ready for change for whatever reason. So we've branched out into other areas. We just started working with a QSR, a quick service restaurant. We have one of the major brands in consumer engagement that has 40 million active users in their database. Who else? Hospitality. So the hotel industry is already many of the operators like Marriott, Hilton already have their own platforms, but we're speaking with some other groups in that same platform, in that same industry.
It's awesome. I think obviously that's a very important kind of retention mechanism, as well as, additional revenue stream down the line for those kind of companies.
Yeah. Engagement is the key. So the platform we hang our hat on is engagement beyond your current business proposition. So if someone comes to a hotel, I mean, maybe you and I travel more than the average person doing what we do, but the average person probably spends 4 nights in a hotel throughout the year. So it limits their ability to earn any valuable rewards that they could redeem. Same thing with travel on an airline. So that's why you see a lot of airlines that are intermingling their points by saying, all right, pump gas at this gas station, they're going to give us a commission, we're going to give you points. Go to this restaurant, we're going to give you points. It's kind of a symbiotic relationship in that respect.
Yeah, and it's obviously very important for those businesses in terms of a ongoing revenue stream and their livelihood in terms of keeping those customers happy and giving them something in return.
Yeah.
So what motivates you to succeed on a personal level?
Again, another good question, Roman. I've done very well for myself, and I enjoy what I do. I enjoy giving the opportunity for business owners, small and large, to have the light bulb go off and say, this is a better way to do it. That's what floats my boat.
Oh, that's awesome. And I think maybe that's one reason you couldn't stay retired, because obviously I'm only 35 years old currently. And I think when I, am at retirement age, I don't know if I can be able to retire, because I have so many ideas and a lot of things that, I want to try in terms of business.
Yeah. So, after I did retire, it was probably 3 months later when I got a phone call from the former poker manager for Cryptologic. And he said, I've got someone that you need to speak to. He's built a machine that scrambles, shuffles, and deals real decks of cards, digitizes the results, and then plays them online. In fact, I was listening to one of your earlier podcasts with Ryan McDonald. I think it was number 112, and he was a professional poker player online. So it got me thinking about the stuff that we used to do. So anyway, long and short was the company developed this platform to kind of answer the question of, I'm playing online, I just had a bad beat, I want to see the cards that were actually dealt that caused this ace to come out in the river, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. And it was great in concept, but unfortunately the end user, who kind of dictates the market in the masses, didn't really care enough to move the needle. So it didn't, it never really happened. But anyway, that spawned my consultancy business. So I have Peak Gaming Group does consulting in the casino space. I kind of speak the online language and the land-based language. So I marry those two together when it gets too complicated for most companies to understand it. And then as I began to grow that business, I would get approached on a regular basis, and I still do, with opportunities that look great. But when you really peel back the onion and I do a feasibility study on it, it just doesn't turn out to be something that would be profitable. This one, what I started with my daughter, CompLinks, is hugely successful because of the trend in the digital loyalty space. So I'm sure, Roman, you probably have 4 or 5 swipe cards in your wallet of a restaurant, hotel, gas, whatever. When you go to any convenience store, everybody wants you to sign up for their loyalty program. You have one of those?
Yeah, but I think I have more casino-wise because my father-in-law lives in Henderson, which is a suburb of Las Vegas.
Sure.
So I think I have every single one from the Strip.
Well, on the average person has 19 rewards cards in their possession, of which they probably use between 4 and 5. So what we do, though, as a coalition loyalty program is a little bit different. If you know what Ebates is, right? So Ebates allows you to shop at all these different stores. It's kind of an aggregator of a bunch of different stores that you could shop at all of them and earn, in their case, a big fat check every 90 days. So that's what we do for companies by letting their existing loyalty program go beyond their four walls and let people shop at Walmart, Kmart, Home Depot, Petco, 1,000 other stores, and earn rewards back in the client's original loyalty program.
That's cool, that kind of aggregating model.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that obviously you have this business with your daughter. How is it working with a family member, especially with your daughter? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that have kind of family-owned businesses or fallen into scenarios where they're working with someone in their family.
Yeah, well, initially my thought was to get my money's worth. I paid for her education and it was quite expensive. So I said, I'm definitely going to get my money's worth. But it's been a blast. I mean, we collaborate on ideas with strategy, and she does a lot of the operational stuff, negotiating with the merchants. So we get an 8% commission from Home Depot for sales that we drive to them, which the rest of the industry doesn't get nearly that much. But she's worked out great relationships with the actual rewards managers, the commission managers, and the affiliate managers. Yeah, so it's been a blast, a great ride. I love it.
Yeah, and I think that relationship building is key in terms of business and, personal and professional networking, making connections, and ultimately, developing some kind of relationship that, as you said, your daughter, negotiates for one reason or another. You're getting higher rates than, others within the industry.
Yep.
So what's one thing that you may have seen as a weakness or had as a weakness in yourself that you turned into a strength and utilized today?
Wow, these are great questions, Roman. So the biggest weakness that I think most entrepreneurs have, and including myself, is procrastination. So, you're waiting for the right spot. You're waiting for the perfect moment, the alignment to just be just right. And you may get caught up in the minutia of other things to put off the important things. But what I've started to do, and I guess I probably learned from my past mistakes by not really capitalizing on things, was to I do a quick assessment, but I shoot first and then aim later. Because it's better to have started and pivot than to never have started at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like you said, oftentimes getting started and having that fear of failure, jumping into something, it prohibits you from starting sooner than you would have normally, and you would have gotten further with that idea.
But you don't do it blindly, of course. You do some quick assessment, but you don't belabor the issues. You look at the 30,000 foot view and you see the long-term prospects. Exactly why we started this industry, this business, because it's growing at 14% compounded annual growth rate. And it's the single biggest driver in the loyalty space, meaning the coalition platform. And I see it sort of as I saw the casino industry in 97. Didn't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out people were getting on the internet and they were going to do the things that they normally do offline, online.
Yep, I agree. So like you said, when you do have an idea, running with it as fast as possible, having a plan, but being logical in terms of the industry or what you're focusing on. Is there possible growth? What are kind of the risks involved, or the strength in terms of getting to where you want to be from a goal setting level?
The real critical thing, Roman, is to be able to pivot. So if you have a sort of a thought process of it's this or nothing, it's going to be tough to make it unless you happen to just get super lucky.
Yeah, and that's very rare, and the luck runs out even when we're correlating it back to gambling. I like to play poker. I haven't played in a while because me and my wife are foster parents. I think we became foster parents last June. I haven't played since May 2018 poker, but it's one of the things I enjoyed, and kind of like a relaxing my own time session. So what's one piece of advice you can leave with the audience, personal or professional?
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but get started. It's been an old cliche, but the longest journey starts with the first step. Pulling that trigger is the first step towards realizing what it is that your aspirations are. So regardless in a business sense, if it's building a loyalty platform, enhancing a loyalty platform, or engaging with your customers in a different methodology, the best thing to do is put yourself in your customer's position and see how they think and what they respond, sort of how you respond. But the other key component, Roman, is to remember that you might not be your target audience. So when I started in the casino business, I'm not a casino player, but I understood how they respond, how they think, how they feel about their emotions about experience at a casino. And that's the important part.
Yeah, and I think you touched on people may not agree with what your kind of direction is for something. So you may think a product or a service is great, but you're not necessarily thinking, in the mind of the end user, the person you're trying to reach. So kind of disconnecting and really understanding the customer is really important. Yeah,
and that breaks into, again, relating it to the casino industry. They break down into different personas. So if you're a slots player and someone else is a blackjack player, the correspondence between yourself and the casino and a blackjack player in the casino should be different. And good casino operators recognize that. And good business owners recognize that not every customer fits into every bucket. And you need to be adaptable to understand the types of customers that you have, find out which ones are your best, most rewarding customers financially, and do what you can to increase the retention of those customers.
Yeah, I agree. And not treating, like you said, every customer the same. So everyone has their own kind of, mindset, own psychology, own pain points that you want to solve or target.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I really appreciate you stopping by today. Can you let the audience know how they can find you or anything else you may have going on?
Yeah. So I'm on LinkedIn, of course. You can connect with me there. Otherwise, I've put up a special page on our site for your listeners. It's complinks.co, so that's complinks.co/DSE for the Digital Savage Experience. I just kind of shortened it a little bit to DSE. And on there, they can find out some other information, how to get in contact with me directly, as well as a financial impact calculator as to how some sort of engagement methodology would help your customers.
Awesome. Thanks again for stopping by.
My pleasure, Roman. Thanks for having me.
This podcast has been brought to you by Nova Zora Digital. Find out how Nova Zora Digital can help your company grow online. Learn more at novazoradigital.com. Until next time, all you digital savages.